Hello, my little Eve Frau Milches, and welcome to the Monday edition of Moohead Radio. I'm your host, a big and furry bovine, and just got done watching the Cavaliers manage to win and we'll talk a little bit about that, but I've got more important things to talk about. That game was not a particularly entertaining game. You had a Zion-less and Brandon Ingram-less Pelicans team, and a great fourth quarter performance by Darius Garland, a really good second half performance by Darius Garland, 30 for the game. But Donovan Mitchell has aggravated a groin muscle. We don't know to what degree. I'd imagine that it's probably, if I were to say, a grade 1. If it's a grade 1 strain, maybe a week, maybe 2. That we're going to be missing Donovan Mitchell. And at least it was promising that Darius Garland really picked up his game when we needed him to, but that's going to hurt the Cavaliers to be sure. Yeah. But at any rate, but I really have to say, if what I watched over the weekend is the NFL playoffs, then the NFL just better do whatever it can to raise its revenue through gambling. And because the product on the field sucks. I got to be honest with you. If one of these teams is really better than anyone else, and some people will say, well, that's what parity is all about. But it isn't parity. It's
incompetence.
It is incompetence. And, in some cases, incontinence. When a head coach shits himself. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. My wrath, first of all, I have wrath based on the whole Cincinnati-Baltimore game. Absolute wrath.
I was in stitches. I was laughing my ass off.
Oh, God. And before the game, Joe Mixon, a guy who really has sucked the last 2 years, here's what he told reporters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And I don't want to do dialect in this, but you can imagine.
Yeah, okay.
We, the big dog of the AFC, and that's just what it is. Okay.
Really?
We, the big dog.
We, the big dog. Is that like the brew dog?
Shit. Okay, I lied. I'm going to do it anyway. Shit. We, the big dog of the AFC, and that's just what it is. I got to hear that shit from that piece of shit. And what did he do in the game?
Not a lot.
11, what was it? 11 carries for 38 yards? Let's take a look at that box score, by God. And Joe Mixon, 11 for 39, 3.5 yards a carry. Joe Mixon, ladies and gentlemen, the big dog of the AFC East. There you go.
He sucks.
The game itself, I got to talk about this. Because, everyone's just sticking their tongue and performing analingus on Joe Burrow. And I understand why. He's white. I get it. Okay? And he's from Ohio, Athens, not
the
Greece.
Hillbilly part of the Ohio. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And so, they've taken a real liking to him. Mary Kay Cabot, her little nipples are hard, just talking about Joe Burrow. But what I want to talk about is how in the hell were the Ravens even in this game? Stop and think about what they didn't have, okay?
Well, the problem is Cincinnati.
Okay. Listen, Joe Pesci.
The problem is Cincinnati had a hard time trying to stop the run. That's what it was.
Yeah, and that was supposed to be, and you're trying to tell me that Reeder was really good and that it wasn't Froholt's fault?
Oh, he was getting his ass kicked by the rookie center.
That's right.
God, yeah.
Anybody who can play that position is going to run that fat fuck over. Give me a break. But, except for Froholt, who's eating Frusenglaje and visiting Norway. I have no idea. But the Ravens didn't have shit out there. I mean, what are they going to do? Let's run Sammy Watkins out there. He can't run. Okay, let's walk him out there. No, he can't catch. What did they have out there? They had Andrews, and Andrews. I mean, there was nothing. And Huntley, I mean, let's be honest about it. I mean, he did everything he could within his means and his capabilities to win that football game.
He did.
And he gets none of the blame in my book whatsoever. But what I want to know, what I really want to know, I'll tell you what I want, what I really want
to know
is why would you just sit on 2 timeouts? I mean, there is something genetically wrong with Harbaugh's. Okay?
Something seriously
because the analytics
wrong.
told him to.
My God. I mean, it's like, and the announcer's like, well, they're huddling up again. It's like, what are they doing? And it's like, one time they huddled up and they almost ran the clock out and they had to call a timeout. It's like, you stupid fuck. They blew a minute of game time trying to figure out how to line up and what plays to call. And the coach had 2 timeouts and he did nothing. And the greatest sin of all, because the greatest sin is what John Harbaugh does. Learning to fuck your team is the greatest hate of all.
I bet there was analytics involved in it. That's just my feeling.
Oh, you know something? No, there is no analytics for a short quarterback to try to go over the top on a sneak when the game's to be won.
I mean, you might as well have tried Colt McCoy doing that same play. Same thing would have happened.
Harbaugh said he was supposed to duck under instead of go above.
You know something? He can duck under and suck my dick. The real question is, how come J.K. Dobbins didn't see the ball once in the shadow of the goal line? Not once. They never called his number. And you know who was angrier about it than anyone?
J.K. Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins. That's exactly right. I mean, there's a guy who's totally pissed off.
Self-absorbed, too. He is seeing, Yeah,
but I mean, look, I got to agree with him. I mean, the idea that a short quarterback without a long wingspan was going to reach over the goal line
from the 4-yard line or wherever it was they start that play.
He's in a competition with Kevin Stefanski for being the worst coach and the worst. You know, how could he let that play call come through? If look, he's strictly a defensive guy. He knows nothing about offense, and that's what ends up happening. And the thing that's great about the Bengals fans, it's like, oh, it was meant to be. You know, we're the magical team. We have the magical beans in our pocket, and Sam Hubbard ran it all the way, and we're going all the way to fucking hell. That's where you're going.
Yeah,
Burrow's going to be dealing with a lot of magical sacks pretty soon.
Yeah, I guarantee you Cincinnati loses.
Oh,
in their
Buffalo
next game.
is going to rip them a fucking new asshole.
Buffalo,
they got 3 practice squad guys on their offensive line.
They
There's
played
no way
like
they're gonna win.
dog meat.
Yeah.
The Buffalo Bills were terrible.
Yeah, they were horrible.
I mean, there was nobody good in all of this. Nobody good.
49ers.
Yeah, well, look what they were playing.
Yeah, they were playing some AA team.
Yeah, it's like, this can't be the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, the wild card weekend is, I mean, I would propose that we just get rid of it and just only have the 4 division winners go to the playoffs and just have a divisional round. Because the only thing that happens in these games is that you get shitty teams and their fans get their hopes up, and usually only one of the non-top 4 seeds gets through at any year. It's a
Well,
waste
I mean,
of time.
here's what Dobbins said. He should have never been in that situation, referring to Huntley. I don't get a single carry. I didn't get a single carry. He should never have been in that situation. I believe I would have put it in the end zone again.
Wow.
Yeah, well, I'm a guy who feels like I should be on the field all the time, Dobbins said. It's the playoffs. Why am I not out there? I should be the guy. I'm tired of holding that back, said Dobbins, who's averaged almost 7 yards a carry in 4 games since having his knee scoped. I'm a playmaker. I'm a guy that my teammates feed off me when I'm on the field. They do. They stack sushi on my belly and they feed off me. Absolutely.
Yeah. Eli's naked in the alley. They put food on him and they eat off of him.
Because he's the big dog in the East. Put some hot sauce on his dick, suck it off, I'm the guy. All right. Here's Ravens coach John Harbaugh when he was asked whether there is any discussion of giving the ball to either Dobbins or 238-pound running back Gus Edwards instead of going with the midget quarterback sneak.
Complain. Gus Edwards should have actually had the ball.
Now look at this. This is his answer with a straight face. We felt like we had a good call. It was a push sneak play. It wasn't executed the correct way. Tyler went over the top. That's a Burrow play. Oh, not that kind of
ass play.
He has to go low on that. That's the way the play's designed. We felt like that was the best call. We just didn't execute it right. Well, I mean, the push sneak play is pretty simple. The quarterback runs into the line, and the bunch of guys come up behind him and push him into the end zone, right?
Yeah,
that's
like a rugby play, that is.
Push sneak play, yeah. However, Tyler went over the top. All right. The thing I don't understand is why a quarterback is put in that position.
Yeah.
I just, you have a battering ram running back. I mean, you're supposed to be a team that's physical.
Yep.
I'm surprised, Stefanski would have run a double end around for the half-yard line.
Yeah, with Dimitri Felton.
It
would have had Felton. Yeah, that'll pull up. It rushed to the line, have 5 guys in motion and get Felton the ball on it, and get sacked on the 12-yard line. That's what would have happened.
I mean, so you put that play call together with refusing to call timeout and just leaving 2 timeouts up there during the entire critical sequence of the game. Just unreal.
You know what the most hilarious part of the game was, and I hope you guys caught it and see if you agree with me, was that interview that Melissa Stark had with Harbaugh, like in between like the first quarter or at halftime.
I didn't catch that. I was taking a piss.
That was so funny. She was like practicing to be Mary Kay Cabbagehead, asking these questions like, well, what'd you think about the unsportsmanlike penalty? And then what'd you think about this turn? And Harbaugh's like going, I really want to elbow you in the face, but I can't do that on national TV. I'm just going to say, talk to me after the game.
Would it be misogynist if I referred to you as a really attractive bitch?
Oh,
it was like the worst questions possible. I mean, what do you think, David? You saw it.
Well, actually, I kind of didn't, to be honest with you.
Oh, it was hilarious.
Well, we were playing along with you, Brock, but
it was hilarious. It's got to be, somebody's got to put it up on Twitter. Harbaugh and Melissa Stark. I mean, it must be out there. It was screaming.
But there's more. But wait, there's more.
Wait. The fabulous Ginsu knife.
That's the Ginsu knife line. That's right. But wait, there's more. No, I'm leaving now because
Marshall Brodini and his magic cards.
Brodini, TV magic cards.
Oh, you know what the trick was on those?
Oh my God.
There was
Whoever heard of Marshall Brodini?
You and I didn't.
He was on an uninhabited cruise somewhere in the Mediterranean doing card tricks with a marked deck. Somebody make this stop. Okay, I got to get back on track. That was such an arcane reference. I love those types of things. I really do. Meanwhile, the Dolphins.
The Dolphins. Oh, God.
You know, but between the Dolphins and the Chargers, what difference really does it make? Let's be honest about this. But here's what happened to Mike McDaniel.
He wet himself.
A critical delay of game penalty his team incurred in its final offensive possession in their loss to the Buffalo Bills, facing 4th and 1 from their own 48-yard line. With 2:28 remaining, the Dolphins failed to get a playoff in time and were flagged for delay of game. The penalty then pushed them back to 4th and 6, where they were unable to convert on a Skylar Thompson pass attempt to Mike Gesicki. All right, but McDaniel said afterwards it was communicated to him that the Dolphins had picked up a first down on the prior play, and he didn't immediately have a 4th down call ready. So he's got the headset on, and some fucking asshole, you know, it was probably, if it were the Patriots, it would be, God, that sounded like Bill Belichick, you know, my headset. How did that happen? But somebody said, we got the first down. Or no, we got the first down. All right. So he's sitting there going, okay, so what are we going to do on first down? It's like, then all of a sudden, 4th down. Yeah. This is what you call prepared, folks. This is teamwork. These are teams that, quite honestly, don't even deserve to be where they are. Yeah. And the fact that the Buffalo Bills played their lousy game and got away with it only tells me that they're going to crush the Bengals next week.
Yeah,
all right?
Absolutely. That's well, yes.
So that was that whole thing in that game. In every game, it seems. I mean, but the goddamn Chargers. I mean, for God's sake. And I got Renee, you know, messaging me. I told you to have faith. I told you to have faith. And it's like, have faith in what? That Staley would find a way to lose? I talked about that on the program.
Yeah, he's a terrible coach.
I mean, but what? And Bosa, what the fuck's up with that? Taking his helmet up and slamming it into the ground. What? And I know he got held on the play before. Why? And they never put him back in the game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, now, wait a minute here. Now's the time you're going to start doling out discipline? What sense does this make?
Makes no sense.
A coach who takes chances, take a chance on your best pass rusher.
There's not even the Chewbacca defense for that.
There isn't. It don't make sense.
It sounds a bit like Gilbert Gottfried when you did that.
Yeah. Yeah, God almighty.
It was a hilarious weekend, though.
It was. I mean,
it was hilarious. I was like dying.
I didn't feel bad about the Browns not being in there because I realized just how bad we really are. But we didn't get there. I mean, this didn't even feel like the playoffs to me, you know?
It was a clown show.
Yeah. How do you give up all those points? And somebody besides Renee, okay? How do you give up that many points to the Jaguars? I mean, let's get real. You have them down 27-7. How do you do that? And how is it possible that when you know that they're going to end up kicking the game-winning field goal and you know it's going to happen, you can feel it everywhere in your body, and you just, no, Bosa, you're going to sit. Okay, 4th and 27, we're going for it. You know, it's like this guy is a crazy fucking gambler, this Staley guy. He's a sick motherfucker. And all the great things you would want to say about, the Chargers quarterback. His complexion has cleared up. That's like the biggest thing that happened for him in the offseason.
Yeah.
Well, here's also the other thing. I was listening to Fox Sports Radio after the game, and they said Herbert didn't really stand out. He was just kind of okay.
He was, I mean, everybody, they keep looking for the next Tom Brady, all right? Yeah. And it keeps happening over and over again.
Oh, it's going to be Brock Purdy now.
They got to have somebody to pimp. But Herbert didn't play like a guy who was going to, make it happen for them, you know? It wasn't like that.
He's going to be the same version of what Rivers was when he was with the Chargers.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, but you would think that he would have been more dynamic in that situation. And you give up 31 points. And, then I saw something that started making sense to me because none of this was making sense. And, the games that happened on Saturday, and I'm going to go back and check on this because this would be, in my mind, like the ultimate Cleveland story. This would be the kind of thing that you want to talk about. Don't make sense. So the Cleveland Browns have lined up an interview with this Desai guy, the Indian, not the Native American, but the poor, impoverished Calcutta Mumbai guy. Yeah. And that would be great. Make him head coach. Belichick would be Mumbles. This guy would be Mumbai. No, he would be Mumbles also. But then when you're going to fire him, he'd be Mumbai.
Change the name of the team to the Cleveland Vishnus.
I mean, we're supposed to feel great that we're getting this interview with him.
I don't.
But they gave up 41 points to the 49ers.
You know why they're interviewing him?
Why?
I've said this on Twitter because he's another numbers guy.
Well, I found out something about him, and let's see if I can find it here that it jumped out at me.
Yeah.
Sean Desai, who holds a master's degree from Columbia, earned his doctorate in education.
Wow.
He's an Ivy League guy.
Yeah, Columbia. You can't get more Ivy League than that.
Yeah, he's an Ivy League guy. Oh, he knows how to play along. He knows all the secret handshakes, all the secret Ivy League handshakes. And that's who we need. All right. Here's this guy's resume. All right. He coached at his high school alma mater from 01 to 05. He broke into football at the college ranks in 2006 at Temple. All right. Which is interesting because my grandfather used to attend Temple. After 3 years as a
that's a good joke.
Thank you. After 3 years as a graduate extern for academics. What the fuck does that mean? Desai worked as a graduate assistant with the defense in 2009, was the special teams coordinator in 2010. I bet you didn't even think they had any special student population at Temple. Yeah. So then he worked as an assistant director of football operations at the University of Miami in 2011, was the running backs coach, special teams coordinator at Boston College in 2012 before making the move to the NFL. All right. But what he did, in essence, in the NFL, he rose to the ranks first as a defensive quality coach in the pros. For 5 years, he was a defensive quality control coach. That's like the guy in the restaurant who makes sure that the French fries are hot. I don't even know what it means to be a defensive quality control coach, a position he served under 3 different head coaches. He was promoted to safeties coach in 2019 and then took over the Bears defensive coordination in 2021. That means he has 1 year of experience because under the Bears, he finished 6th in the NFL in total defense and 3rd against the pass. 1 year.
Yep.
And when he left after 1 year to take this job with the Seahawks. That is not a defensive coordinator's position. Why are we talking to him?
Why is it that every job he's at, he's only there for 1 freaking year, other than that quality control one? You listed about 12 jobs there.
I'm ahead of you on this.
Yeah. Okay.
They keep serving beef in the commissary.
Yo.
And that just doesn't
Holy
go over.
cow.
That's
Holy
exactly
cow.
right. It just doesn't.
I think I'm talking myself into them taking out the one guy for the Eagles. They put in a request to interview, not Jim Schwartz, but the other guy that's with them currently. I'd rather go for him.
Yeah, I don't even know how many. Have they added another one after Desai? Oh, yeah. I think I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Why don't we just cut out the middleman and just hire Mary Kay Cabot as defensive coordinator?
Yeah, I'm looking to see if I can find the name. Isn't that terrible? I just went right over it and I didn't pay any attention. Why the hell should I? Whoever it is, I'll hire the wrong guy. That's the way it works.
I think it's Denard Wilson.
Denard Wilson. Good. Thank you.
No problem.
And, you know, that just made me feel that much more confident about why the Browns are not in the, if you want to call these playoffs. It was, now, on top of everything, all right, here we go. Overrated. Yeah, there's Lamar Jackson. And what did he do?
Didn't even go to the game.
Well, worse than that, he's doing the social media thing. Here's what he posted on Instagram. When you have something good, you don't play with it. You don't take chances losing it. You don't neglect it. When you have something good, you pour into it. You appreciate it. Because when you take care of something good, that good thing takes care of you too. Show me the money.
Deep thoughts with Lamar Jackson.
When did he post that? Before the loss or after the loss?
No, this was a story that broke today. Okay. And, you know, this is when the team's down, then you put something up on Instagram because he's a piece of shit. All right. Yeah. There's a professional way of handling these things. You know, Rick, stop trying to curry favor with me, okay? I just want to make oh, God. So, at any rate,
so Lamar's sitting at home, and he's like hoping that his team loses and Huntley has a bad game so that he gets more money. Is that basically what you're going to try to tell me? Because that's probably true.
I mean, look, he's got a PCL problem, all right? Yep. They wanted to move him to the Pacific Coast League, and he refused to go.
Yeah, Joe DiMaggio.
No, and he's got an unstable knee. And why they couldn't have just said that in the first place, I don't know. I don't know why he had to make the world aware of this now before the playoffs. I have no idea. Everyone's just posing, posturing, and playing games. And you got a pissed off J.K. Dobbins, and you've got a pissed off Lamar Jackson. You got a front office who can't be very, very happy about this. You know, if you look at what this guy has accomplished, it's nothing. Lamar Jackson has accomplished nothing. He's fun to watch. He's exciting as hell. But what does he really bring when it's all over and done with? And
well, he's hurt either. I mean, yeah.
Well, they've crippled him.
Yeah.
And that's because of Harbaugh, the idiot. I mean, it's like, okay, here's what I want you to do. Just go back to pass, and if Andrews isn't open, start running for your life, and make sure you make as many hard cuts as you can. And that's it. I mean, I've been saying this for 2 years. It's a matter of time until his knee goes. And I'll say it now. The next time, it blows out completely.
Yes.
No one's going to pay him.
But the truth is, Lamar Jackson is so conceited, that's the way he wants to play. This is, he wants to be the big dog in the East.
The big dog.
He'll do it somewhere else anyway.
If he had to rely on his drop back passing, what would he be?
He'd be Teddy Bridgewater on a very bad day.
Yep.
I mean, it's all right. And now, all right, this is what I'm being asked to do. I don't want to just spontaneously start doing Timmy Bartholow, but when his name is invoked, what choice do I have? Right. That's not bad. It's not.
Go, fuck off. And then let me talk. Okay, Art Jones, here we go, baby. All right. Here's the stuff after fast. Lamar Jackson, he's staring at Andrews and staring at Andrews and staring at Andrews. And Andrews looks like his feet are in cement and he's not moving down the field. And now he has to run with the football. He breaks through the first line of defense and he's at the midfield line. He's at the 45, the 40, the 35, the 30. There's only one man between him and victory in the Super Bowl. There's the hard cut. There goes his knee. Hey, Dad. Hey, he fucked his knee up. I told you he was going to do it. Stupid asshole.
He asked for it. I mean, I'm sorry. That's like, there are things you can invoke. Oh, who did we used to invoke?
Joe Banner.
That's right. You did it. See, why did you fall into the trap?
Joe Banner. Oof. The smell.
I was just watching this thing they call the NFL. And I found myself NFL not for long. I just couldn't watch it anymore. And the thing that bothers me so much is that I fit in so well there. What's that smell? You know what that smells like? It smells like John Harbaugh ass. Sorry.
You gotta say Peter Ellis for the Minnesota Vikings, though. Do you believe it? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Al Michaels calling the Dolphins getting a delay of game. It's like,
it's 4th and 1, and they gotta snap the ball. Wait, there's a flag on the field. Do you believe this? Yes.
They could stop, dear God. I was just glad as hell Al Michaels didn't call the Sam Hubbard interception because the man's blind and he's old. He would have been like, during the most exciting part of the game, he would have been like, why are they running down the field? Who's got the ball? Did I miss something here? That ball had to have hit the ground. Was he in the end zone or wasn't he? He would have missed the whole play,
Probably still would have more enthusiasm than Joe Buck.
Oh, what would have been great on that play if they'd called the block in the back on the Bengals, which they could have quite easily have done.
Yeah, Andrews did kind of get touched in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about Mudcat Grant?
Teen music.
Calling the Sam Hubbard play. We ready?
All right.
You asked for it, and I think that you, unfortunately, you didn't ask for it, but I'm going to give it to you. Well, Harry, you have to remember Harry Jones was his broadcast partner. Yeah. Okay. Well, Harry, it looked like that man's running very fast down the field. I remember this one time when I was in Minnesota, and that was many years ago. And I I ran that fast when they tried to chase me out of town. Some guy who said he had a son named Tony. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, the whole thing was just
Hilarious.
yeah. So I've got Renee on my ass saying, admit it, Moohead.
Admit it.
The Jaguars are the future. They're the future. And it's like,
No.
if you want Trevor Lawrence's nose to penetrate your hoo-ha, then that's all right with me. You know, whatever floats your boat. But I just can't believe the games that I saw here. And it was an interesting weekend, a very eye-opening one. And then this. I just can't believe this. Saquon Barkley, who had a big run in a big win, and give the Giants credit. Whoop-de-doo, they beat the Vikings. Or as Bronk would say, skull.
Skull.
Oh my God.
Skull.
Yeah. Saquon Barkley says this about Daniel Jones. I know we have an elite quarterback. It's like, where is he hiding? If he's locked in a room somewhere, give the manager, the general manager, somebody the key so you can let him out.
Better off with Davy Jones.
I'm not even going to go there. He's dead. You know, Davy Jones died of a heart attack in his car.
Wow. It was in his car?
It was in his car. He suffered a massive heart attack in his car.
Same Randy Savage did too.
Yeah. But he crashed it. Davy wasn't moving. Well, he wasn't moving in the car or afterwards. But be that as it may, that's just a little trivia for you that you didn't need. So Daniel Jones went 24 of 35 for 301 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Vikings. He added 78 yards rushing on 17 carries as New York won its first playoff game since its Super Bowl run in the prehistoric era. No, in 2011.
Bill Sims or something, yeah.
No, 2011.
2011, okay.
Look, Daniel Jones, I'm glad for him. I'm actually glad for Brian Daboll because he will be able to have that one accomplishment
on his resume.
That's right. That'll be like that, you know, it's like the one-hit wonders, you know, in music, you know?
Yeah. So when they fall apart next year and he gets fired, he might be able to get another job. Or he can always come on and be part of the Moohead panel because he's white, bald, and morbidly obese and probably has bad opinions about a lot of things.
You know what my feeling is? If you go to a Tracy Chapman concert, you don't want her to start out with Fast Car.
Yeah.
Okay? Because then you're going to be sitting there for an hour and a half not knowing what in the fuck you're listening to.
Until you get to give me one reason.
You're right. Yeah, she spaces it out, you know?
Yeah.
So, but no, Daniel Jones is not an elite quarterback. And, you know, everybody's getting way carried away. And these teams that are subpar teams are actually beginning to think they're much better than what they really are.
Even Philadelphia and Kansas City haven't been that great.
No, nobody has.
I actually think the Jags got a chance against Kansas City. I really do. Because the Chiefs, they tend to play down to their competition, particularly when they're not all that interested. And as long as they can contain Kelsey, I think the Jags will make it a decent game.
The Chiefs are cocky as shit, too.
Yeah.
I'll take anybody over them, honestly.
Oh, and if you don't believe in stupid head coaches, Zach Taylor, who almost coached the Bengals to a horrible loss.
Nightmare.
You know what he
I'm
did
glad
after
we
the
don't
game?
have him. What did he do?
He went to a downtown bar to deliver fans a game ball.
Yeah, I saw that.
You know, that's the kind of thing it's like, I mean, what are you trying to be Mr. Popularity to the fans? You know,
At least he wasn't Urban Meyer going to the strip club.
that's what I was going to say. Urban Meyer knew what he was going for. I don't exactly know what Zach Taylor was thinking. You know, maybe, I don't know, maybe I can get one of those lap dances if I hand over a game ball. Maybe it's one of my balls.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole thing didn't really, you know, he had
don't
told
make
reporters
sense.
in his post-game press conference that he planned on continuing the tradition of handing out game balls around the city.
That's
I mean,
just weird.
I mean, why don't they have like one of those Easter egg hunts?
Yeah.
You can bury them under the ground and people can try to find them. And get this. This is the funniest part of the story. The bar he chose was called the Blind Pig, which finds an acorn every once in a while if you're not familiar with the with the saying.
Or truffles.
And that's
even.
exactly what his team is. It personifies Joe Mixon, the blind pig. From Paymore Stadium.
Paymore.
Those fans are going to realize how much it costs to get into a Bengals game now.
I mean, do people realize that this Buffalo-Cincinnati game is a rematch of the game that got aborted, but this time it's in Buffalo? I think Buffalo is just going to rip Cincinnati apart.
And get this. This is, everybody does these symbolic things. Winning isn't good enough, okay?
Yeah. It used to be.
Who in the hell thinks of something like this? This tradition is never going to die, Taylor said. That includes tonight. You guys keep holding me up. I don't know what time the bars close here, but we'll find one. I don't know what that means, but the tradition is, you know, let me tell you something. The tradition will die when you get fired, you stupid fuck. That's when this tradition, you know, you think the next head coach of the Bengals is going to say, I'm going to a bar and I'm going to bring a ball to the fans. I mean, I don't think so. This is all this self-importance, self-indulgence bullshit. Just win games. Carry my luggage. Do what you're supposed to do. God almighty. And then I have to read this story. Ethan Pokich stood out for the Browns offensive line and would love a second year in Cleveland. You better bring him back.
God, yeah.
I don't want to see Froholt again. Frau Froholt.
Nick Harris is not going to make it.
I don't know, man. And look, I'm not saying anything bad about Nick Harris. Nick Harris had a bad break. And from everything that I heard, Nick Harris really had worked incredibly hard to get to this point where he was going to get a chance to start. And it was just an unfortunate thing.
Oh, you know what that reminds me of?
What?
Jonah Williams gets the Jedrick Wills Award for getting injured on a play that you get absolutely steamrolled and run over.
Yeah.
he looked like Jedrick Wills trying to block the Ravens.
You know what I think the funniest part of that story is, and there isn't anything really funny about a dislocated kneecap, is that after the game, they asked Zach Taylor, and he goes, yeah, it's a dislocated knee. Yeah, but he's week to week. I'm like, are you fucking stupid?
He's like year to year now.
Dislocated kneecap. He's week to week, you know? Hey, if we just win 2 more games, he could be back on the field, you know?
Oh, he was absolutely diabolical. I mean, the practice squad guy had a better chance of blocking them than he did. That's why Buffalo's going to run over him.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Here was the story. Jannard Wilson going to be interviewed. We don't hear how these interviews are going. And he was a defensive pass game coordinator and defensive backs coach. And again, somebody who's never done the job before. I don't understand how you could hire anybody besides Jim Schwartz in the group of people that you're interviewing. Now, I'm not handing the job to Schwartz because, but he's the only one who you can honestly say has experience in whipping these people into having the discipline to do what it takes.
Yeah, a bit of morale too.
Well, you never know, because Denard Wilson could be like D'Amico Ryans, because he was a guy who was never in the position, but look how well they've done.
Yeah, well, no, he would be coming to Cleveland. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, good point.
This is not Bizarro World. But again, if you have an offensively minded coach, if you want to call Stefanski that, you have to have a self-contained defensive coordinator, somebody who doesn't look over to Kevin and say, "Hey, Kev,
I need help here."
Yeah, I can't run a double reverse. What should we do? You need somebody who's a take charge person. And just like the offensive line coach, just like Callahan is, you need somebody who's an experienced person. And, for me, I mean, and it's nothing to denigrate this candidate. Denard Wilson is a guy who's did a good job.
He's learned under Todd Bowles and our old buddy Greg Williams.
Yeah, I mean, so if he's off from the Greg Williams tree, he's fucking crazy. But again,
Bounty, the quicker picker upper.
Prior to Philadelphia, Denard Wilson survived 4 years with the Jets as a defensive backs coach, and a defensive backs coach again, as he played a key role in the development of Jamal Adams. I have to hear about this. Who earned All-Pro honors in 2018 and 2019? Wasn't he a Brown?
No.
He might go. Ooh.
No.
No, he never was.
I don't know.
Okay.
We used to have Mike Adams.
Oh.
Not related,
okay.
but yeah.
Yeah.
That's Samuel Adams.
While we're talking about Adams, Adam Rich, the actor from 8 is Enough, the little kid with the bowl.
Yeah, he's dead too.
He did.
Yep.
He did. Yeah.
Can I ask a question of you guys? I know that the Vikings game started late because the interminably long Buffalo-Miami game, they had 5,000 incomplete passes and 5,000 reviews and 5,000 drops. So what is this expedited review bullshit, and why did they suddenly trot it out? Was it only to keep that Vikings game under 3 hours so that it didn't run over into the start time of the Bengals and the Ravens?
I don't know.
What was that all about?
Because the referees are old and their eyes don't work as good, so they need a second look at things.
I'll tell you, the more gambling advertising out in the open there is in the NFL, the NBA, these bad calls, it should become absolutely easy to understand what's going on. And if you can't figure it out,
for that.
You don't care. If you don't care, that's fine. But don't ask why, because things work out the way they work out. I don't, that's all in the money. It's all in the numbers. That's the real analytics that runs the NFL or the gambling odds.
We are all Caesars.
God. So at any rate, that's that. CJ Stroud is entering the NFL draft.
Yeah, you got to do Peter Alice though. Kirk Cousins.
I will in a minute. CJ Stroud, his quote was, "Get me out of here." Okay.
Get me out of here. Ryan Day's going to kill me.
This is really unbelievable, this next story. And I suppose...
How unbelievable is it?
We'll ask your friend, Peter Alice. This is the worst story I've ever heard in my life. Alabama doesn't have a good basketball team. But Darius Miles, no relation to the guy who played in Cleveland, a men's basketball player from Alabama, and another man have been charged with capital murder in connection with an early morning shooting near campus that killed a 23-year-old woman. Oh. This story gets really weird. Tuscaloosa Police Captain Jack Kennedy said the shooting occurred early Sunday morning in the Strip off University Boulevard near campus. He said Jamia Harris of the Birmingham area was shot and killed. Miles, 21, and Michael Lynn Davis, 20, of Charles County, Maryland, were both charged with capital murder. Capital murder because the death involved shots that were fired into a vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
At this time, it appears that the only motive was a minor altercation that these individuals had with the victim as they were out on the Strip, Kennedy said. They didn't have a previous relationship. Now get this. This is the part of the story that throws me for a loop. And this is going to piss some viewers off. But God damn it, it can't go down this way. He said the driver of another vehicle in which Harris, the dead woman, was a passenger, approached campus police near Bryant-Denny Stadium at around 1:45 in the morning, saying that someone had shot into the vehicle, and he fired back.
Ooh.
One of the suspects was treated for non-life-threatening injuries at a local hospital, and Kennedy declined to disclose who fired the gun or who was hurt. Neither the driver of the other vehicle nor Harris nor Davis appeared to be affiliated with the university. So what it amounts to is, after the shooting, the woman who was shot was riding in the car at 1:45.
Wow.
And basically, when they were stopped, why didn't they notice that she was shot? A. And B, is it normal, like, to be caught up in a drive-by shooting and you just pull a gun out? Isn't that handy? Woo-hoo! This whole gun thing, and I don't give a shit what your fucking freedom says. I don't give a fuck. This can't be the right way. This is wild, wild west shit. And it didn't stop somebody from getting killed. And then the weirdest part, a video was posted by AL.com. And emotional Miles, the shooter, can be heard saying, "I swear I love you more than you imagine," to someone as he is escorted into a law enforcement vehicle.
Wow.
And then he said, "And now I'm the big dog of the South."
Blue dog.
Somebody just, In another lying headline, Sean Payton absolutely would consider coaching the Texans. It's like, no.
Another week, Sean Payton's being tested for concussion.
No, Sean Payton doesn't want to piss anybody off, right?
Mhm.
He said on The Herd with Colin Cowherd that he will meet this week with Houston, Denver, and Carolina just to get the shit teams out of the way.
Yeah.
The Cardinals also have requested permission for the Saints to meet with the 59-year-old coach.
They just hired their new general manager today.
Yep. Any team that hires Peyton would have to compensate New Orleans, of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the bottom line here, he's like, well, sure, I'd go to Houston. If they can find me hotel rooms to get jerked off in, just count me in.
Don't even have to find hotel rooms. Just do it at the team facility.
And then there's this. And today's, I promised I would say something about the Cavaliers game. The Cavaliers got some home cooking. All right. I don't usually say this when it's the Cleveland teams because it doesn't happen very often, but the Pelicans were playing this afternoon, 3:00. The game was a special Martin Luther King And I had this dream that the
You
Cavaliers
had
were
a
going to
dream
win, you
that
know?
we were going to win. Yeah.
And the Cavaliers played really hungover basketball, but
Terrible.
there's been a virus that has run through that team, and there's multiple people who are sick and playing through it. And you're going to see that everybody that Cleveland plays, their players are going to suddenly
They're going to get
get
it.
sick. You see, that's the way it works. And the Cavaliers were down the whole game until they finally took the lead. And the way they took the lead was that they went to the free throw line and made like 10 consecutive points from the free throw line. And that's what happens to teams when we play against them, you know. That's home court basketball, and Zion Williamson's not playing for the Pelicans. Brandon Ingram's not playing. They're both hurt. Nothing new, especially for Zion. But yeah, the calls all went against them, and the Cavaliers ended up winning by those 10 points. All right. That's the way the game went down.
Yeah, well, Valanciunas did try to rip out Jared Allen's shoulder in the first quarter. Like halfway through the first quarter, he went yank on his arm. And
Valanciunas is a human piece of shit.
He is a big piece of shit.
I mean, you know, and he jumps, you know, this high off the ground, you know. But get this. Who speaks up? LeBron James. LeBron says, all year long, they keep telling me my face on the court. This is what the referees are saying. I didn't see it, or it wasn't a foul. It's not making sense to me. Seriously, frustrating as hell, man. Anyways, keep going, squad. And it's like, LeBron, they used to do that for you when you were younger, and the league gave a shit about you.
They don't now.
You're playing for a losing team that has no reason to go anywhere. They're mismanaged, and the fact of the matter is that nobody gives a fuck.
Yep.
And if you don't understand it, King, and I love LeBron, you know that, but you know, you can't have it both ways. You know, when we go in and play Milwaukee, it is a given that Giannis is going to go to the free throw line 15 times.
Yeah, exactly.
Automatically. I mean, you might as well just mark it off. Either that or just don't fucking guard him. That's just the way it works.
Yep. But,
you know, of all people to be complaining about this, I found that to be.
Yeah, the big thing today was that technical that they called on McCullough in the fourth quarter that sort of turned the whole game around.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing that was funny about that whole game, I mean, Cleveland looked like they were in mud. And they just didn't have a spark in them. And sometimes it's painful watching Ricky Rubio trying to come back from that ACL tear because, you know, he was, you know, Roy Orbison, blew by you. A number of times by guards who just went right around him like he was standing still. And Ricky Rubio's a courageous guy, and it's going to take time. It won't be the real him until maybe next year, you see. That's how long it takes, really. It's a 2-year ordeal. It's not just a 1-year ordeal. It's amazing he's back on the floor at 32 years of age on a second tear of the same knee. You know, and they, you know, if they put in a cadaver ACL the first time, that motherfucker died twice.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So LeBron is venting because the team keeps losing, and the Lakers lost to the 76ers, but the 76ers are part of the plans of the NBA now, not the Lakers. They just have to understand that. And it's not that hard to understand. So at any rate, that's the wisdom that I have, is that if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, you know, I know that there's 50% of you who hate Deshaun Watson, but the fact of the matter is, if this is what we have to play against, if we can get some competent coaches, and you know, I know we're not going to get draft picks now because of what we did to get the quarterback, but if we could just get competent coaching and decision making, we could be in there with any of these teams.
Absolutely, because they don't have competent coaches and decision making going on. It's
Right.
like a rash of crazy coaching and crazy decision making. And, maybe their excuse is analytics like, oh, if you do go for fourth down at such and such yard line and you lose and it's not really that big, bullshit, play football.
And it's interesting. Double P points out that the Texans have the best package to offer New Orleans because
package.
Exactly. I
knew
don't want.
we
I
were
don't want to
talk about package.
No.
Just keep a towel over it and you'll be all right.
Yeah. So it's an hour. I promised you an hour. I gave you an hour, and that's that. But hey, thank you to Bronk. Thank you, David, for joining us. And hey, we got another game tonight, and then I'll be back again on Friday.
I'm not watching the game tonight because A, Tampa Bay's going to win, and B, after watching all three of those games and staying up till 4:30 in the morning yesterday, I'm dead.
I would imagine. Go easy, my man. Go easy.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, thanks a lot for tuning in, and I'll see you guys again on Friday. Until then, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.
Go Cavs.